Okay, hey guys, Jamie here. So today I'm going to do a quick video on a topic that I got asked recently about how do we know what notes we're landing on? How do we know like the relationship to the bass note or the chord? So, I'm playing some chords and somebody's doing a solo or maybe playing a melodic phrase. And how do we get better at knowing the intervals? So if I'm playing a C chord or just a C root note and I'm playing this, how do I know that that's the major 7 to the major 6th? What kind of ways can we get used to that and be really relatively quick at it and just be really aware of it? How do I know that this is the 11th of D? How do I know this is the 3rd of A? Now, this is not so much me playing it by myself, but somebody could be playing chords, and then you're starting a solo. That's going 3rd, root 4th. Now, when a student asked me this, I think we all get to a certain point where it's just like so automatic, almost can't remember how you did it. But when I started thinking back how I did this in my early 20s, practicing a lot at like music school, I started to think, well, you can get through it through scales, like learning all these major scale positions, being aware of what's in those. I don't remember thinking too much when I was practicing those all the time when I was younger. That was very much like shape-oriented kind of hand stuff. Even though I know what it is now, and I probably did think of it somewhat, I don't remember turning my brain on really thinking about it as much. It was more like I just want to get that shape under my fingers. Now, the one thing that I have a pretty strong memory of doing is working on 7th chords and their chord inversions. Now, this is what we're going to talk about today. I have a vivid memory of spending a lot of time on this in my apartment in my early 20s and really having to think about where those notes are in each inversion. Now, if you're not familiar with this, I'll do a brief kind of bit of info on what I'm talking about. So we have triads, which are just your normal pop chords. And then the next step of that is a 4-note chord, which is 7th chords. So you have a root, a 3rd, a 5th of some type, and a 7th. Today we're just going to stick to major 7, and we're going to pick C. So the most stock standard C major 7 voicing is, which is C on the A, G on the D string, B on the G string, then 5th fret for the E on the B string. I think most of us kind of know that. If you don't, kind of, check that out. So I had this Howard Leonard book, and it was all about a chord inversion. And this was back when I would really rely on an external source to kind of learn from. So I'd want to learn more, get better at chords, 7th chords. So I got a chord book. This was a really thick one. I forgot what it was, the exact name of it. I've still got it somewhere. Now, I only remember like checking out the first 2 or 3 pages or so at the very beginning, because it had all the formulas which I understood, 1, 3, 5, 7 for major 7, 1, 3, 5, flat 7 for dominant, and so on. So, okay, I get that. And then I knew this chord, and the other ones were a bit, I wasn't sure of. So those ones I had, and I was talking about 4, those ones I really had to turn my brain on for to kind of get used to this. Because it didn't give you the necessarily the chord shapes. Maybe for the first set, for major, then you have to do the kind of work out the rest. And this is what we're doing today. Now, instead of just seeing that as a shape, what we want to be able to do is see what the interval makeup or the formula for that chord is. So we're going to go C, which is the root. The next one is the 5th. The next one is the 7th. Next one is the 3rd. So as I said earlier in the video, by learning at least like this little group of notes, I'm starting to be aware of what notes are where, and I can be in more control of that and be able to, know that I'm landing on the 3rd, know that I'm landing on the 7th, know that I'm landing on the 5th, and even the root. Okay, so that's the first step. Get used to that one. And then we're going to do the other couple of versions. So we have root, first inversion, where the kind of the root flips up to the top, and you pop the third in the bass. The next one, the fifth, is in the bass. The bass meaning on the A string, the lowest note. Next one, the major seventh, is in the bass. So that's our kind of 4 C major voicings and their inversions. That was a little tricky to get. Okay, so now let's go through those and understand the intervals and where they're kind of getting thrown to in the next inversion. So from the first one, all you got to think of is, it's almost like you're thinking of 4 notes jumping at the same time. So your root is now going to become the third in the next position. So on that string, you got to find where's the third. It's an E note, so that's now the lowest note. The next note before we had fifth, that becomes the seventh, because this is the next note in order, 1, 3, 5, 7. We had the fifth, now it becomes the seventh. The root becomes the third. We had the seventh on the G string, that becomes the root. As I said before, it's the next one in order. Then we have the third, becomes the fifth. So we go from this chord, the original root note voicing, to this one. Think of C in the background, like, in my head. Now, that's kind of how you want to see this. E really isn't the root note. It's still a C chord, but you're not necessarily having C as the lowest note. Okay, so from there, we want to get the next one. So you've got to be landing on the fifth on the A string. Where is the fifth? Before I knew the fifth here, which is a G note, that's going to become our lowest note. Now G on the A string, where is that? It's on the 10th fret. Then we're going to go 10th fret below that for the root. You're going to go 9th fret below that for the third of C, which is an E note. And then below that on the B string, we're going to go B, which is the 7th, at the 12th fret. Or we can grab it. Okay, so now the main thing you want to take away today is when you're holding these, you're really aware of, like I'm saying out loud, what intervals are where. So you can, kind of start to practice this and go 5th, 7th, 3rd, root. Or just straight down, 5th, root, 3rd, 7th. The one before, 3rd, 7, 1, 5. 1, 5, 7, 3. Okay, one more, and we're going to do it on the major 7, which is B. So put that on the A string, which is up at the 14th fret. The next one is the 14th fret again on the D string, which is the 3rd of C. Then we've got 12th fret on the G, which is the 5th. And then we put the root on the B string at the 13th fret. Like that. Okay, so I'll play through all those 4 for you. Okay, so that's your root, first position, first inversion, second inversion, third inversion of C major 7. Now that's only one string set. So we want to be able to do this in the other 2 string sets later, but for now, this is pretty new to you. Then I'll suggest sticking with this. And then we want to start to see if we can change these chord voicings into different formulas. So now this is where the big part that I was talking about, you really turn your brain on. You're going to have to start to think, okay, where's the 3rd, where's the 7th? I need to flatten that, I need to raise this note. Now, let's try doing a dominant 7th with the same idea. So I start with major 7. I'm aware it goes root, 5th, 7th, 3rd. But with dominant 7th, your kind of bluesy one, that kind of sound, we need a flat 7, not a major 7. So I'm going to flatten the 7th, which is on the G string. I'm going to flatten it by a semitone and make it a B flat. So to B flat. So now instead of learning a whole new shape and thinking, oh, I've got to look this up and figure it out, all I'm thinking is I've just got to change one note. And it makes me a lot more in control of what I'm holding and a lot more aware as well. And this will translate later when you're soloing. You can just, you're looking at it, you're holding them when you're practicing this way, and you're getting really good at how they kind of, where they are on the fretboard. So now, if I was, for a short example, if I'm playing over a C7 chord, kind of targeting the flat 7, which is there. And how do I know that? Because I've practiced the chord inversions. I know that's where the movement goes. And I just know, like, I'm just getting used to the intervals, and I'm getting used to them by practicing chord inversions. So first one, major 7, becomes dominant. Now, we need to know the next major 7 one pretty well, so we can make that a dominant one as well. So that's your major 7. Now the 7th, where is the 7th? So this is where, like I keep saying, a big part of this video, where is the 7th? What note is the 7th you're holding? Is it, which finger is it? So you've got to stop and think, and you don't want to go, oh, I need to look up the shape. Just really try to think which one is holding the 7th. For us here, it's on the D string, and it's the little finger on the 9th fret. We're going to make that an 8th fret. So we're going to change our fingerings a bit. It's going to go, okay? So we've gone from major 7 to dominant 7. Let's do the next one, major 7. Where is the 7th? I need to flatten that, you know, so you're on the hunt to look for these intervals. The major 7 in this inversion is on the B string, so I've just got to flatten my little finger. That's all it is. So major 7, dominant 7. Okay, last one. You got the major 7 with on the A string. This one is probably the least usable, especially major 7. It sounds okay, I guess, but anyway, the 7th is on the A string, so you're going to flatten that. So you're going to change your fingers a little bit and become. So I got the flat 7 at the 13th fret on the A string. I got the 14th fret is the 3rd of C. 12th fret on the G string on G is the 5th, and then the root is on the B string at the 13th fret for B. So I've taken all of these. Now I know the dominant 7th, or I know how to change into it. Dominant 7th, dominant 7th, dominant 7th. Now, when I'm playing around, say, the scales that I know, even pentatonics, so now I might be aware, I can start to see that this is B flat, and it's a flat 7 because I've practiced that chord shape. I can see that line as flat 7, 5th, to the 4th, to the 3rd, root, 5th, flat 7. This is like happening all the time in my head. I just kind of know the color that's bringing it out. And I think it's really super useful, and this is a really great way to learn our intervals, get better at knowing our fretboard. Okay, so I'll show you one more example, then I'll get you to try one on your own. And if this is a lot or overwhelming, you can just start with this and just practice that one and see how you can change it into the other 7th chord formulas. So if I want to make it a major 7 sharp 5, which is 1, 3, sharp 5, major 7. So I've got to change a 5th to a major to a sharp 5. How do I do that? I'm going to find the 5th on the D string, move it over 1, and I get major 7 sharp 5. Like a, cool jazz chord. Now, if I know the other major 7 inversions I said before, all I'm going to do is find the 5th and sharpen it. So major 7, major 7, major 7 sharp 5, major 7, major 7 sharp 5. Now, I think that's plenty for today. Now, if I'll just quickly just show you what some of the other ones look like. You want to end up doing these on the lower 4 strings. And even on the top 4 strings as well. So hopefully this helps. Take it really slow. And if knowing any of these 7th chord is very new, just pick one to start with and then see if you can work out what the next inversion is. Once you have that, just 4 little moves, it'll open the whole fretboard up into knowing a bunch of these intervals and multiple places as well. So I know where the 3rd is here, the 3rd is here, the 3rd is here. And if you do the other string section, find that as well. And it starts to really light up. You don't have to think too much about it. It becomes very immediate. And there's a lot of different chord types you've got to get through. But just picking 1 or 2 and just sticking with them for a long time and then start to move through them is a really good way to practice it. All right, guys, that's plenty for today, I think. So hopefully this helps. Practice these chord inversions, but really be aware of what you're holding and think about when you're holding the next one, where they've jumbled to. So you had a bit of an order to start with, 1, 5, 7, 3. The next one isn't going to be that again. It is at some level, but it's not the same order. So, you start to go, okay, there's a 3rd, 7th, 1, 5. And saying this to yourself in your head and not just thinking, okay, 7th fret, 9th fret, 5th, 8th, okay, I'm getting used to that shape, I'm relaying it back to the root note. So I'm starting to build a relationship back to that. Okay, I'll leave it there today, and I'm going to do some more on these kind of inversions and even some diminished stuff soon, so triad stuff. So if you've got anything you want me to kind of look into, leave a comment and we'll check it out next time. So have fun with this, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for listening, and bye.